And I share Senator Hatch's and others' comments and concerns about the denials that have occurred over the course of time that any targeting was taking place, when we now know that targeting was in fact taking place. Mr. Miller, you started your testimony by apologizing, and Mr. Shulman, I wonder if you have any words of apology for my constituents and others who feel like the public trust has been violated by the IRS.
You know, I'm deeply, deeply saddened by this whole set of events. I've read the IG's report, and I very much regret that it happened and that it happened on my watch.
Is that an apology?
To your constituents, I don't know the details of your constituents. I don't know what happened to them. I didn't, look at particular constituent and taxpayer matters. I mean, as a general principle, as the IRS commissioner, I didn't touch individual cases, and I certainly didn't touch cases that involved political activity. So if I knew the details of it, I could give you, an answer.
So it's not your responsibility? The buck doesn't stop with you?
I certainly am not personally responsible for creating a list that had inappropriate criteria on it. And what I know with the full facts that are out is from the Inspector General's report, which doesn't say that I'm responsible for that. With that said, this happened on my watch, and I very much regret that it happened on my watch.
Well, I don't think that qualifies as an apology. It qualifies as an expression of regret, which I think is well-deserved. But I have, beyond just the question about the particular activities here that the Inspector General has discovered and which we are all now becoming acquainted with, I had a question, Mr. Shulman, about what you talked about earlier in your testimony as the core function of the IRS. And when I think about the core function of the IRS, it is to collect the revenue that the federal government needs in order to function. But it seems like over the years that the Congress has given the IRS additional responsibilities. For example, to police political activity and speech. And now to implement Obamacare. I believe you mentioned there are some 90,000 employees in the IRS. Would you share my concerns that the IRS has deviated from its core function and should be reformed to focus on that core function and perhaps not be given these other additional responsibilities until it can get its house in order?
I guess what I would say is the IRS is tasked with the responsibility of administering the nation's tax laws. And over the years, the nation's tax laws have been used for more and more things. And so I think I defer to Congress to decide what it wants to use the tax code for and whether it wants the IRS to do all of the functions in the tax code. But as long as the IRS is given that responsibility, I think, the obligation of the agency is to do it to the best of its ability.